Hello, everybody. I'm Natalie Schroeder, and I want to thank you for coming to my Managing Your Pain Naturally class. I apologize for the issue with the internet earlier. It was 5:55, and I saw flashing lights outside my house. And these guys said, "Hey, we got to shut your internet off. We've been tracking this problem, and we tracked it back to your house." And I'm like, "I have a class starting in 5 minutes. Will you at least let me get on and post something real quick?" So they graciously let me get on the internet real quick and post that I wasn't going to be able to make the class, but then they shut it off immediately after I pressed send, so I wasn't even sure it went through. And living out in the woods as I do, the mobile data is not always very reliable. Not that I could have done my slideshow on a mobile data anyway, on my cell phone, but nonetheless, thanks for bearing with me. I'm gonna go ahead and put this up for you guys all to watch, and please feel free to ask questions within the event, and I will be checking it in the next few days to make sure that I answer any questions we have. I'm just gonna start out by letting you know that there is a ton of information in this class, and I know that it can be a little overwhelming. So my suggestion to you is to kind of tune out a little bit, perhaps, if it's something that doesn't pertain to you, and kind of give your brain a little break to digest things. And then if you hear something that does pertain to you, kind of like pick back up and be like, all right, I need to listen to this one, because there's a lot being covered here. First and foremost, I want to just make sure you guys understand that this is my personal research, my personal experiences. I am an essential oil educator. I have been for over 4 years now, and pain is the reason I got into essential oils. These have not been evaluated by the FDA and all that good jazz. You can see the little blurb on the bottom there. And nonetheless, this is the research I have come up with. So some general terms we are going to use in this class. Analgesic, that's the first one. That just means pain relief. So I say this one's got analgesic properties, or this one has analgesic effects. It just means it reduces pain in general across the body. Anti-inflammatory, inhibits the enzymes which mediates inflammatory reactions in the body. What that means is that when you have an injury, your body inflames the area so that it causes pain, so that you won't continue to use that area, and you'll rest and it'll heal. Well, sometimes our body goes into overdrive, and it has chronic inflammation, and so it stops those enzymes your body's putting out that says, hey, we need to make this inflamed, and it stops those so that your body won't inflame whatever area that is. Again, that's across the board. Anti-inflammatory, it's not going to specifically only work on your foot. It'll work at all the inflammation in your body. Antioxidant reduces oxidation, which is basically cell damage. As our cells are exposed to chemicals and things in the air and stress and all that stuff, they can be damaged. Antioxidants kind of protect that cell from having this damage. Antispasmodic is exactly what it sounds like. It suppresses muscle spasms. Neurotonic stimulates and repairs things in the nervous system. And then a circulation oil will increase blood flow and oxygen to the area that it's applied. So these are just some terms. By the way, feel free while you're going through this with me to screenshot stuff. I'm not going to be, sorry, I had a tickle in my throat, I need to take a drink. I'm not going to be upset if you take some screenshots and save these for your own personal use. So if I'm going through stuff really fast, just take a screenshot. You can rewind the video, listen to it again. But here we go. All right, so there's those 6 categories there. No oils do everything. If one did, by golly, wouldn't that be nice? But it doesn't. So helichrysum, marjoram, and coriander are the 3 that kind of covered the most ground. You can see here that helichrysum is antispasmodic, neurotonic, analgesic, and anti-inflammatory. So it covers a lot of different areas of pain. Marjoram is almost exactly the same, except for instead of an anti-inflammatory, it's a sedative. It kind of just calms the person down and will calm down the injuries as well. And then coriander is also the antioxidant, which neither of the other 2 are, and anti-inflammatory, antispasmodic, and analgesic. So it's not a neurotonic like the other 2 are. So they each kind of have one thing the other ones don't. And then the next best ones are frankincense, melissa, rosemary, fennel, and wintergreen. Now you might be wondering, why are you giving me this information? Well, I'm all about saving money. And so if you have one of these already, this way you know, like, well, maybe, I already have some rosemary, maybe I can try that. Or maybe I can't afford the helichrysum, so I can try the coriander. I just want to give you guys lots of options out there to try different things. So these are kind of the big hit oils. If you can only buy a few, these are good ones to have in your arsenal. My favorite oil of all time is Deep Blue, and that is because this is the oil that saved my bacon. I'll tell you a little story. I was a paramedic, a job I absolutely loved, and I tore the SI joint in my back, my butt, really, if you want to be specific. And I went to an essential oils class. I was in the hospital for 5 days trying to manage my pain. Heavy doses of Dilaudid. Had really bad side effects from that I won't get into. But it was really awful. And then I was flat on my back for 6 weeks. I started walking with a walker after that. By the time I went to this essential oils class, I was walking with a cane, so I was starting to get a little bit better, but I was just in terrible pain. I mean, I think 3 or 4 times on the drive over, my husband tried to get me to go back home because I was just being in the car was hurting so bad. So I get there and they're talking about these oils, and I'm kind of rolling my eyes because I was raised Western medicine. I'm not a hippie at all. And I am now, but I'm just whatever. And they said, well, can we put some of this on your back? And I think my words were, I have real pain, but whatever, something along those lines. I call them hippie oils. And they put the deep blue and some frankincense on my back, and yeah, it's a little better, I think. And then they put some more on, I think an hour or two later, because it was a long class and I was at my best friend's house, so I was talking a lot, shocker. And put another dose of it on, and my husband came to pick me up, and I sat up and walked over to him. And I was just like halfway, I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's like, what did they do to you? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to turn around. I'm going to go buy a kit and I'm going to figure this out. I am a research nerd. I love to know how things work. And so that's why education is so fun for me. So Deep Blue just was amazing. It was the first time that I could actually start to function a little bit. I was able to go for longer walks, and I was able to wean myself off of the pain meds eventually, which was fabulous because I couldn't drive, I couldn't take care of my toddler, I couldn't go to work while I was on those medications. So what's in Deep Blue? Well, the number one oil in it is wintergreen. And wintergreen was on our top, here we go, whoops, too far. Right here, it's in our best 3 out of 6 categories. And the reason wintergreen is so great is because it is 85% methyl salicylate. And methyl salicylate is what gives aspirin its pain relieving properties. So aspirin is basically synthetic wintergreen and birch. Birch is another essential oil that has methyl salicylate in it. In fact, wintergreen and birch are the only natural sources of methyl salicylate. It is an antispasmodic, an analgesic, an anti-inflammatory, and it's warming to relax the muscles. A lot of people, when they use Deep Blue, they mention that it reminds them of icy hot. And it totally does, because wintergreen warms, and then you'll see peppermint in here will help cool. But it's doing so much more than icy hot. It is a natural blood thinner, but not like a crazy one. So if you have people that are on blood thinners, if they're having trouble keeping their numbers correct or whatever, then maybe you might not want to give them much, but they'd have to take an awful lot of wintergreen for it to really affect them. But it is just kind of a warning that's out there. I want people to be safe. And also epileptics, especially if they're super sensitive to triggers, shouldn't have wintergreen. Next is camphor. It is a nerve sedative. So not just a sedative in general, but a specific nerve sedative. And it really helps calm those frayed nerves that are being hit and impinged on. Is a nerve analgesic, antispasmodic, stimulant to the circulatory system. So that makes it really helpful for arthritis, rheumatic diseases, and gout. Next is peppermint. Peppermint is in a lot of blends. You'll see it in a lot of blends because it's a driving oil. It drives other oils into the body. But it does also have that cooling sensation. And it is a circulatory oil, so it's going to bring oxygen and blood flow to wherever you put it on, and where there's more blood, there's going to be more healing, unless it's outside the body. You don't want that. Inside the body, more blood is good. Okay, blue tansy is one of my favoriteest oils ever. It aids the body to naturally reduce stress and irritation. It's a nerve sedative as well and helps specifically with sciatica and migraines. So if sciatica or migraines go ding, 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 you want blue tansy or deep blue. Blue chamomile is the next one, also known as German chamomile. A lot of people are like, but we have Roman chamomile that you can buy. Why did they use a different chamomile in this one? Well, German chamomile has a high azulene content. That's what makes it blue. And all chamomiles are soothing, but azulene is a very potent anti-inflammatory as well as soothing, and it assists in cell regeneration. And so this is where Deep Blue starts really putting other things like BioFreeze or Icy Hot to shame. Not to shame. Those are great things. Don't get me wrong. That was a poor choice of words, but this is where it's really above those, I should say, because it's going in and helping with cell regeneration. When you tear a muscle, when you sprain an ankle, when you break a bone, this is actually helping those cells start to cycle through. It's starting to grow new ones and start the healing process. It's not just making it feel better, it's actually working to do something inside your body. Next is helichrysum. It's well known for having many analgesic, antispasmodic, and anti-inflammatory effects. Remember, that was the one that was 4 out of the 6 categories. It is also a blood thinner. So you have helichrysum and wintergreen together. So if you have, again, if you have people on blood thinners, if they're just on a little bit of blood thinner and their levels are always good, it's probably not a problem if they use Deep Blue once in a while. If they have trouble with this, if this is something that's a big issue in their life, this might be something you don't want to get near them for a while until they're ready. It's a cytophylactic, and it promotes cellular health and the recycling of dead cells. And the last one is osmanthus, and that helps stimulate blood flow to the injured muscles and tissues. So you can see that this blend is a super heavy hitter. And in all the years that I've done essential oils, Deep Blue has been my go-to. There have been other oils that we're going to talk about later that have come, and they're great to add to, but Deep Blue is just always that one that's always in my purse. I love Deep Blue. It does so much good. Sometimes I need to add other things to kind of help push it over the edge, but this is my mainstay. So this is Deep Blue. If you have questions about Deep Blue, please let me know. It's one of my favorite oils, and I will gladly talk your ear off about it. But we must move on to Aroma Touch. Aroma Touch is another great blend of oils. What's great about all of these oils is all of these are circulation oils. So this blend was made with patients with neuropathy in mind. And neuropathy is anytime you have prolonged nerve damage, you're going to have peripheral neuropathy, which is usually in your feet, sometimes in your hands. And a lot of times diabetics suffer from it because they have poor circulation in their extremities. So the blend of these oils, it covers all areas of pain and healing, circulation, analgesic, antispasmodic, anti-inflammatory, and cellular health. It encourages muscle healing, increases blood flow. This is a great oil to take to the massage therapist if you're getting a massage, because it's just going to really get throughout your body and do a lot of good. We're going to talk a little bit more about neuropathy later, so don't feel like you got cheated on that. We are going to talk about that. But Aroma Touch is a great oil for circulation, for muscle pain and tension. And then, oops, wrong way. Try that again. There we go, past tense. This one is exactly what the name says, past tense. It is for tension. It even says on it here, tension blend. It is for those tense, tight muscles. If you've been out working in the garden and your shoulders are super tight, if you get tension headaches, this is the blend for you. It's got wintergreen, peppermint, lavender, frankincense, cilantro, marjoram, Roman chamomile, basil, and rosemary. Bunch of those big hitter oils are in there. It's great for bruises and arthritis as well. It's good for swelling, cramping. It relieves tension. It promotes circulation. It's also good for hangovers. Not that any of you will ever need that, I'm sure, but just in case, it's really good for that. It smells like a minty taco because the peppermint and the cilantro are both very intense in this. If you're prone to not liking the smell, you can pour half the oil into another bottle and then fill it up with fractionated coconut oil. That'll help kind of dilute the smell down. and it's not going to decrease the potency of it at all. So anything tense. So blue tansy, I told you this was one of my favorites, so I thought I would go ahead and add a slide for it. It's a relative of the daisy. Like I said, it's German chamomile. It's high in azulene content, and it's a super powerful anti-inflammatory. But it's also really good for replenishing skin. In fact, most people, if you're going to talk to someone outside of the pain genre about blue tansy, they're going to start talking about, oh, it's great for skin, and your skin will glow. It's so beautiful. For me, I'm like, that's second, potatoes. I don't care about that. Look at this. It's nerve sedation properties. Oh, that's wonderful. Blue tansy right down my little behind, right where that SI joint is, for my sciatic pain, really does wonders. It's also good for migraines, and you can see here it's good for general pain, arthritis, fibromyalgia, and calming down. It is a very, very calming herbal scent. My daughter likes it in her diffuser at night, and I let her use it. What's great about this for the fibromyalgia, and again, we're going to talk about fibromyalgia later, but it doesn't stimulate. A lot of people with fibromyalgia have a hard time sleeping or calming down, and so this is very calming, but it doesn't stimulate them to wake them up at all. You are going to want to dilute it with coconut oil or a plant-based oil. It doesn't have to be fractionated coconut oil, but it will turn your skin blue. Don't worry, it'll absorb in and go away, but if you don't want to look funny for a little bit, just dilute it, no big deal. All right, copaiba, I've heard it said in several ways. I'm going to say copaiba, you say it however you want. Our copaiba, doTERRA's copaiba, if you're not a doTERRA person, that's fine. I'm still glad you're here. I'm just going to talk about doTERRA's because that's what I know. It's a blend of 4 different species of copaiba trees. What's awesome about that is that it hits all these different areas because each one has its own chemical makeup. It's great for cardiovascular, immune, digestive, respiratory, and neurological function. And neurological function is where we come into the pain area here. If you use it topically, it can help repair neurologic issues and give you a normal anti-inflammatory response. Copaiba has become so popular with people that they put it into a capsule. So it's 2 drops in a capsule. So I just pop a capsule in the morning so I don't have to worry about rubbing it in or putting it under my tongue or whatever. It's super great. So you might have heard, a lot of people have heard, that it's like cannabis. And when they introduced it to us as a new oil they were putting out, I feel like it might have been a little bit of a mistake because all people heard was that it was like CBD oil, and people began to think it was CBD oil. And it's not. Not related to the marijuana or hemp plants in any way, shape, or form. Stand by. I'm going to leave you on that note because I need to blow my nose real quick. Okay, I'm back. So, what we have in our bodies is called the endocannabinoid system. I'm going to say that again because I kind of sounded funny. The endocannabinoid system. Now, was cannabis named after the endocannabinoid system, or was the endocannabinoid system named after cannabis? I don't know. Potato, potato. But here's what we know. Cannabis works on this system, and it's the only thing that we thought works on this system. And the system's connected to our brain and our neurological function, as well as some other things. So marijuana has THC, and THC works on our cannabinoid receptor 1, and that's our brain, and that's why it gets us high. That's why it does really well with things like seizures and depression too, because it's hitting directly in the brain. The CB2 receptor does not get you high, but it has wonderful effects on pain, circulatory, neurological functions as well. So you see this little picture over here. THC just hits CB1. CBD hits kind of both. It's not supposed to hit CB1. Sometimes it does, depending on where they've derived it from and how good of a job they've done. And then you have your copaiba, and it hits only CB2. So it will not get you high. It will only have those effects that the second receptor has. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm not explaining that well. But to break it down, it is not related to marijuana or hemp. It simply hits the same receptors that they do. It does not hit the receptor that makes you high, therefore you don't have to worry about that. Make sense? Good. So it has a lot of the same properties and helps that CBD oil does. Okay, moving on to turmeric. Oh my goodness, this is my new favorite oil. I'm so excited that this came out this year. Turmeric has been used for eons for things like inflammation, digestive health, antioxidant. It's been used in foods in the like Indian cooking and stuff. It smells horrible in my opinion. I just want you to know that my daughter's in here, so if you hear random noises, that's her, like that. So what's great about the turmeric essential oil is that it is 100% bioavailable. And if you take a turmeric pill, your body can only absorb about 20% of that. Whereas if you take a drop of oil, your body will absorb all of it. It's called bioavailable. And the bioavailability of turmeric ground up in the root is not very good. It's really hard to digest and absorb. So the oil, you use all of it, and it hits really fast because oil is absorbed by the body so easily. It's really great for autoimmune diseases. It's wonderful for anti-inflammatory. It has done wonders for my pain since I've started using it. I put it in a capsule in the morning when I get up. So I take my copaiba capsule and I take my turmeric and then I rub Deep Blue on. And guys, honest to Pete, I was actually pain-free for like an hour the second or third day I used it, and I almost cried because it was the first time I'd been pain-free in like 6 or 7 years. It's absolutely amazing. Now, of course, not everybody has inflammation problems. Not everybody has the same problem I do. So this may or may not work for you. But if you have chronic inflammation or inflammation problems in general, this might really help you a lot. I'm hoping and praying they put it in a capsule like they did the copaiba, because when I spill it on the outside of my capsule, oh, it tastes so bad. There was some gal talking about how she makes turmeric lattes. Oh, that sounds awful. Now that I do know a couple people that think it's good, but not many. Anyway, but as an oil, I am willing to deal with the awful taste of me not being able to pour a drop correctly because it works so well. So there's another one called yarrow palm. And this is a blend of yarrow essential oil and pomegranate. And what's so cool about this is yarrow is a well-known herb used for lots of things. And the pomegranate's an omega-5. And omega-5 does good things for your metabolism and your digestive system, but it's also a really powerful antioxidant. And this is another oil that can actually hit receptors in the endocannabinoid system. And so they're realizing there's more and more natural things out there that hit these receptors, which is really awesome. So this trio, this threesome is phenomenal. It is absolutely amazing. I don't always take the yarrow palm for some other reasons, but the three of them together is just like this powerhouse of amazingness. I definitely always take the copaiba and turmeric. The yarrow palm is just more of an emotional thing for me. I have some depression issues, and so yarrow palm and I don't always get along. But with pain-wise, it's amazing. And then we have what's called deep blue polyphenols. And this does not have deep blue oil in it. Deep blue oil is not to be taken internally, but it's meant to be used in conjunction with deep blue. So this is really great for any kind of joint pain, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, any kind of itis. It's frankincense, curcumin. So curcumin is the anti-inflammatory part of turmeric. So this has some turmeric in it, not the oil, but the harder to digest type. I was taking curcumin for years before the essential oil came out, and it did help a lot. So it's a good thing. Ginger root extract, green tea, the pomegranate, grapeseed oil, resveratrol, peppermint, and caraway seed. So it's got a lot of great things in there for pain and inflammation. So we're going to dive into some conditions. Once again, I just want to reiterate that these are my own research, my own ideas, my own experiences. Okay, so let's talk about arthritis. Arthritis is something that has been around forever. They have found dinosaurs with fossils with evidence of arthritis, which is really funny to me. I don't know why. It's basically inflammation of the joints. There's like 100 different forms of why there could be inflammation in your joints. And it's a really high occurrence. Lots of people have it. Foods rich in omega-3s seem to help. So the two main types are osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. And osteoarthritis is it's a degenerative arthritis. It's used from overuse of the joints. When I was a volleyball coach, I had she was about 14, she's a freshman, that's 14, right? 14-year-old with juvenile arthritis from gymnastics, doing gymnastics her whole since she could walk. So it's really just a matter of the joints have been used too much. A lot of people with arthritis, they'll tell you why they have arthritis. Like, oh, I have arthritis in my hands because I did woodworking and I used these two fingers over and over again, you know. It's usually in older people, but it can happen in younger ages, I talked about. Basically, the cartilage between the bones degenerates and allows bone-to-bone contact, which is really uncomfortable. It can cause bone spurs and inflammation. And deep blue is a great treatment. Wintergreen, frankincense, lemongrass, ginger, myrrh, blue tansy, copaiba, any of those work really well. You can massage the area, follow it with a heat pack, or you can fill a bowl with warm water and add oils and submerge your hands and feet until the water cools. A reason that we use heat and water with oil application in this case is, again, to drive. So the heat's going to open your pores up and just let you get that stuff in there really quickly and easily. And the water drives. Oil and water do not mix. Your skin does not let water through, right? Our skin is a water stopper. Why can't I talk there? But it does let oils through. So if you put oils in and then you put water on, those the only place it can go is into your skin. So water will drive oils in. That being said, if you ever have oils on and they're irritating your skin, don't put water on it because it'll just make it worse. Use another carrier oil to calm it down. So here's a rub you can make. It's 2 drops each of wintergreen, lemongrass, frankincense, and eucalyptus. Put a little bit in some fractionated coconut oil or any other plant-based oil and massage it into those painful areas. If you want to do 10 drops each and put it in a roller ball and just have it ready to go, you can totally do that too. Wintergreen, we've talked about. Lemongrass is great, especially for tendons and ligaments. And frankincense is a cell regenerator as well. Rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disorder. So your reason for it happening is not wear and tear. It's your body attacking its own synovial joint. It's usually seen earlier in age. And it's really, really, really debilitating. If you have rheumatoid arthritis, dealing with the pain is one part, but dealing with the autoimmune progression is another part. And so there's a whole nother class basically on autoimmune diseases that we would need to talk about. So if you would like to know more information about the autoimmune regimen that I have down at the bottom there, please let me know and I'd be happy to send you some information on that. Basically, Dr. Hill mentioned that lemon and myrrh together, or lemon and oregano applied, can be really soothing to the inflamed joints. Other oils are cedarwood, frankincense, ginger, myrrh, and lanolin. And the deep blue polyphenols are really integral to the health of your joints. So here's neuropathy. And again, neuropathy is caused by prolonged damage to the nerves. I have neuropathy in one of my feet from my back injury. Most common symptoms are numbness, tingling, burning, pain, and loss of muscle control. It can be caused by trauma, illness, diabetes, infection, or toxins. And the biggest thing is that we need to bring circulation to the area. So to aid circulation, you want to add fractionated coconut oil and 2 to 3 drops of aroma touch to the large muscle nearest the site. For example, if you have neuropathy in your foot, you want to go up to the calf. If you have neuropathy in your hand, you might want to go to like that forearm muscle or even up into the bicep. After about 10 minutes of just massaging that muscle, then you add the oils to the foot or the hand and massage in that kind of pattern, up, over, over, up, over, over. If you feel little crystals, you need to massage them out. That's part of the issue with neuropathy, with that circulation not being there. These crystals kind of form because nothing's flushing them out. It may be painful to get those little crystals out, but it needs to be done. And neuropathy is not going to get better overnight. You're not going to have one massage and go, oh my gosh, I'm healed. Or even if you do feel a really huge difference right then, it's not going to last long term to start with. So you need to do it for 1 to 2 weeks and really be consistent before you decide if it's working or not for you. And that, if I can just side note real quick, that's just something that's true of natural medicine in general. We've gotten so used to Western medicine and pills, and they work fairly quick. Actually, I'd say essential oils work quicker, but they last longer. The Western medicine seems to last longer. Well, here's the deal with that. If you want an extended release morphine, what do? Well, basically, they give you this pill, and they put up roadblocks in it that your body has to work to break down to get that next little dose of morphine. And while this pill may last for 6 hours, the whole time it's in your system, your body is working, trying to break it down. And it's not relaxing, resting, and healing like it's supposed to be. Essential oils, it's 100% bioavailable. All of it gets into your system. It gets absorbed immediately, whether you're putting it on topically, taking it internally. Within 20 minutes, it's all throughout your body. And yes, your body's going to metabolize it a little quicker. It may only last 2 to 3 hours, but there's no waste. There's no extra stuff, no toxins, no fillers that your body's processing out through the liver and kidneys. And your body can rest and relax because it's not doing this extra work trying to absorb it. So, I understand that it can be frustrating when you first start out with natural medicine, that things don't last as long, but the benefit in the long run is so worth it. And once you get it dialed in, this is the blend you want, you make it in a roller ball, and you keep it in your purse or your car or whatever, and you can just pull it out and use it when you need to. It doesn't become that much of a issue anymore. So side note, thank you for bearing with me. So here's some oils that are good for neuropathy. Basically, you're looking at your circulation oils again. Your peppermint, coriander, geranium, juniper berry, lemongrass, cypress, lavender, and basil. And I starred basil because a lot of people with neuropathy are diabetics, and basil is so amazing for diabetics because it will stabilize blood sugars up or down. It kind of just helps them stay where they're at. It supports the pancreas so that you're not having those dumps and dives that can be so terrible for diabetics to have. Over here we have the neuropathy neutralizer. It's 3 to 4 drops of cypress and coriander into the muscles near the neuropathy morning and night. And you can see that we're not focusing on the area where the neuropathy is. We're not messing with the feet and the toes. We're messing with those big muscle groups near them because that's probably where the clog is. That's probably where that circulation has died down. And then the result is further down in your body. Here's another one for diabetics. Again, it's not about pain specifically, but I think it's important because having a healthy insulin response can really, not having a healthy insulin response, I should say, can really cause a lot of other problems. So if you're a diabetic or know someone who is, coriander with Slim and Sassy is a great mix to help with that. Okay, fibromyalgia. This one's huge, and this one's so hard. And the reason fibromyalgia is so hard is because they don't know what causes it. And another thing I love about natural medicine is that we're not just paying attention to symptoms. I go into the doctor with back pain. They want to give me a pill to help my back pain. That's great. What caused my back pain? They don't seem to care about that as much. And with natural medicine, you're always trying to get to the root cause because that's how you're going to fix the problem. Well, with fibromyalgia, we don't know the root cause. So how do we fix it? And so that's really frustrating. They believe it's a problem with the central nervous system. And for that reason, we can take care of we can add some oils that we know will help with the central nervous system, like copaiba. And Aroma Touch seems to help people a lot. I put Deep Blue Rub on here because it gets these big areas, but I will caveat that with some people don't do well with Deep Blue because of the wintergreen, and the peppermint can be very stimulating. And if you look up at the top here, they have difficulty sleeping. And several people that I know with fibromyalgia mentioned the Deep Blue keeps them up at night. It doesn't, it's too peppy for them. So use that with moderation if you have fibromyalgia. Here's a Fibro Buster blend. Again, in a roller bottle, put 10 drops each of these oils: blue tansy, lavender, wild orange, marjoram, and copaiba, and then use it as needed in some areas. This is a blend I made up for my mother-in-law, and it seems to help her out quite a bit. Migraines are another tough one because there's so many causes and therefore many remedies. General help, frankincense on your thumb. If you look at your reflexology points on your hand, the top tip of your thumb connects to your brain. So what people do is they put a drop of frankincense on their thumb and press it to the roof of your mouth. So you're putting pressure on that reflexology point. Your mouth, your mucous membranes in your mouth is one of the quickest absorption things. So you've got quick absorption. And then frankincense is one of the few oils that actually passes the blood-brain barrier. So it actually will get straight to the brain and help. And it's one that is good for neurological function and cell regeneration. Juniper berry and helichrysum on the back of your neck. Past tense works great for a lot of people. And then here's a headache away blend: peppermint, lavender, and frankincense. Peppermint brings circulation. Lavender is very soothing, and then frankincense, as we mentioned, goes straight to the brain. If you have hormonal migraines, you need to be taking the phytogestrone complex. It is a supplement, and it has genistein, flaxseed extract, and pomegranate extract for a few that help with that. And then there's an oil called Clary Calm. It's another blend, clary sage being the foremost oil in it, which is great for hormonal balance. Use it for a month and see if it helps. Rub it over your stomach, on your wrists, or your feet. Really anywhere is fine. If you use it every day for a month, and then that month when your cycle comes through, you don't have a migraine or it's not as bad, then maybe that's a really good clue that your migraines are hormonal. So that's some help for that. Tension and stress migraines. Well, just don't be stressed out. It seems easy enough, right? Sure. Past tense is great for this, though, especially if you carry your tension in your neck and your shoulders. It'll really help ease that pressure, bring circulation to the area. You want to hit them early. Ice packs can help at the base of the head also. Some people with past tense, they have a trouble once they get too far into that migraine. The smell can really bother them. If it's bothering you, try putting it on your feet, putting your socks on, and you can't smell it, and you should still get some of the benefits of the oil. Here's just a little graphic I found of different types of headaches and some different things that can be used for them. So sprains and strains, these seem kind of minor compared to some of the other things we talked about, but they do happen. A sprain is a stretch or tear of the ligament. A strain is a injury to the muscle or tendon. Lemongrass is particularly good for tendons and ligaments. It's kind of a mainstay to have at my house for these things. Frankincense and or helichrysum will aid with tissue repair, and ice only for 48 hours. Because there is inflammation, heat seems to exacerbate that. So ice will help kind of bring it down. And because I am a big believer in Western medicine as well, I was a paramedic for years, and I've seen things. There are times and places for doctors. And if in 48 or 4 to 5 days, you're not getting any better, you probably have a broken bone, and that would be a good time to go see a doctor. All right, bruising. In the first 24 hours, apply helichrysum every 3 to 4 hours. And then after that, you can do lavender or cypress. Why don't you do them at the same time, or lavender and cypress first? Well, lavender and cypress are both vasoconstrictors. What that means is it makes your blood vessels get smaller. So it's not going to absorb the helichrysum as well. So you want to put that on first, and then the lavender or cypress. Here's a bruise blend. If you have a clumsy child, or you're clumsy yourself, this might be something you want to keep on hand, already made up and ready to go. Again, 5 drops, 4 drops, 3 drops, 2 drops. That's a lot of oil. This is probably several doses worth. So I'd put it in a roller ball or a spray bottle. This is my darling daughter's hand. She got caught up in a swing. She got in a fight with a swing at the park, swing 1. Because I'm such an awesome mother, I put her in the car, I drove her home, and then I took a picture before I took care of her. But you can see here, she had some pretty good bruising starting just within 20 minutes. This is 1 hour later in the middle. It's already starting to go down. And then within 5 hours, you can see how diffuse that bruising is. It's already started to spread out and turn a little yellow. I probably should have taken one more picture the next day because it was all but gone. Yeah. I want to mention dermatomes to you just because it's kind of important, again, when we get to the root cause, when we talk about that and how important it is, kind of like we were talking about with neuropathy, a lot of times where your pain is not where it's stemming from. And if it's nerve related, you want to get to the root of that nerve. So what dermatomes are, and you can get on the internet, just go to Google, put dermatomes, and click on images, and you're going to get a million of these charts. But if you're having pain and it's very specifically in, let's say your thumb, you can see here on your thumb, it says C6 next to it. And if you follow that C6 all the way up here, it's going to your well, I'm going to show it on the back here. If I can get my little drawer pen thing, annotate. Here we go, C6 on your back here. This is your C6 vertebrae right here. And out of each vertebrae is a nerve root and bundle that go out and service different parts of your body. So if you were having pain down your arm and into your thumb, but not the rest of your hands, then you would have a pretty good idea that the nerve root is on that side is being impinged somewhere in there. And so you could start up here at your spine, putting your oils and kind of work your way down and know that you're probably hitting where that area is. If you're rubbing your thumb with the oils, that may or may not work if that's not really where the pain is being rooted from. Does that make sense? I hope so. So I think this is a neat thing to have. I like it. I use it for myself, especially, like I said, I've got neuropathy in my leg, in my foot, excuse me, and pains in my legs, and I'm able to kind of pinpoint where I need to be treating. Okay, I mentioned reflexology just briefly when we were talking about migraines earlier, but I think it's really important to use and test these options. Sometimes it's just so hard to pinpoint where you need to go, or it's like, hey, my liver is having really big issues and I can't really put oil on my liver. So you can work with these reflexology points. Again, get on Google reflexology. It's amazing how pointed these can be. If you've ever worked with a massage therapist or a reflexologist, they can really pinpoint some things in your body with this. There are some spots on your ears as well, and it's just a really remarkable thing. Another thing I'd like to mention, I don't have a slide for it, but chiropractors are a great natural source of just getting your body back in alignment so that all of your cerebral spinal fluids can flow correctly, so that nothing's being impinged. It brings inflammation down. It can even help you when you're sick start to feel better. And another thing is acupuncture. I had an article pulled up earlier today they did this study at this ER. They took 300 patients. 150 they gave morphine to for their pain, and 150 they gave not reflexology. I'm looking at reflexology. They gave acupuncture to. And after 60 minutes, they did it for 60 minutes, and after 60 minutes they checked in on them again. They all started at the same pain level of 8 out of 10 pain. And the morphine people were down to about a 4 out of 10, and the the acupuncture people were at 2 out of 10 pain. So acupuncture in the same amount of time gave a greater pain reduction than morphine in an ER setting. I think that's just a phenomenal research and really interesting, and really I hope they go somewhere with that. So there's that. Another thing I want to mention to you is Epsom salt and magnesium. And if you're having pain, a lot of times magnesium can really help with that. We don't get magnesium very well in our society. It's not something our body makes naturally, and it's not something we get with our standard American diet. Epsom salt has it, and it will go right into your system. So if you do a Epsom salt bath, you can get it. Even if you're not a bath person, if you want to do like a foot soak, or we were talking about the arthritis pain earlier, where you want to put like your joint in the water, put some Epsom salt in there too. The magnesium is really, really important for our body, and it helps relieve stiffness and pain. It helps with nerve response, and a lot of research has been going into that as well. You can see here the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition conducted a study on magnesium that showed people who had a diet high in magnesium or took supplements had higher bone density and overall stronger bones. So there's a lot of research going on about magnesium and its importance to our health and in general, and one of those is in the area of pain. Epsom salt and essential oils are super common. They go really well together. You know, we talked about putting joints in the bowl of water. Obviously, if you're like have a shoulder that hurts, you can't do that. So take like a hot towel, take a towel and put it in hot water, and then wrap that towel around that joint if you need to. So here's some Epsom salt bath recipes. They're not all related to muscles, but there's some good recipes in there. And feel free again to screenshot this. I stole this from naturallyphoebe.com.australia. So thank you, Naturally Phoebe. These are great recipes. This is a great blend called Help and Be Copa, copaiba, frankincense, easy peasy. It's great for pain and for cardiovascular and overall health. Here's your daily nervous system. It's basically the last blend with Siberian fir added to it as well. We didn't talk much about Siberian fir today. It does a lot of things for your nervous system in general. It doesn't talk necessarily about nerve pain, but just good nervous system health. It's also really good for respiratory stuff. So here's a bone-on-bone recipe. This is a recipe I made for my father a few years back, and it's helped him a lot. He has a disc that's completely disintegrated in his back, and he's ineligible for surgery for lots of reasons. But nonetheless, they can't fix it. So this is a thing we do for him that's helped him a lot. Steve blue sandalwood, Siberian fir, peppermint, marjoram, eucalyptus, and then just recently we've been able to add copaiba and turmeric. If it's a new injury, if you're using this for an injury that's newer, you can add helichrysum just to start that healing process really quick. Here's a couple more recipes. Here's one for inflamed tendons, people with plantar fasciitis. This is a really good one. Temporary comfort reducer, used to be called the morphine balm. Really great. Don't put 6 drops each. Do 6 drops total. That's a typo. That's a lot of blood. Do 3 drops each in the morphine balm. And then this is just kind of my rule of thumb. If you're like, I don't really know, I don't have these exact oils you just talked about for this recipe or this recipe. Here's kind of my rule of thumb. You take a big old bottle, not a big old, like a 10 ml bottle, 15 drops of one that's an analgesic, 8 drops of one that's good for calming or tension, like your chamomiles or a lavender even, or marjoram. Take 8 drops of an anti-inflammatory, maybe your turmeric, and 8 drops of a circulatory oil. Probably peppermint would be a really good one. It's really cost effective. It's a driving oil. It's great for circulation. And that will give you just this general awesome pain blend. There's kind of nothing you can't conquer with that. If you don't have essential oils already, super easy to buy, super easy to get into. You can buy them from me. You can buy them from whoever invited you to this event tonight. At retail cost, you can get a wholesale membership, which is like a Costco card, $35 a year, actually $35 to sign up. You get 25% off all year. Every year after that, it's $25, but you get a free bottle of peppermint. So it's kind of a wash. You don't have to buy. You can buy once. You can buy 5 times a month. It's totally up to you. Super easy. If you would like to do that, let me know. Let whoever invited you know. Let whoever you know. Doesn't have to be me. I am all about education. I just want you guys to start using these oils. I mean, whether you get one oil in your house, whether you're using a ton already and you just want to use them better, I'm just excited to start getting you guys some relief. If you think you have friends that would like a class, that would like to know more, maybe about the autoimmune, maybe just a basic oils class, anything like that, I would love to come teach you. I love doing in-home classes. They're super fun and cozy and comfortable. If you don't feel like you could have people at your house, excuse me, we could meet at a coffee shop or we could do something online like this. But I would love to host a class for you or put on a class for you on a subject that you feel like people would be interested in. So that's it. Again, I'm sorry the internet thing didn't work out. If you have questions, please, please, please put them in the event. Like I said, I'm going to put this recording up for about a week so everyone can get to it. And I'll be checking the event for questions from there. Also, if that doesn't work, I don't think I have it on here. Nope, I don't have it on here. You can email me at najaleh@aol.com. NA like Natalie, JA like Jane, LEH like LEH, like my maiden name, which won't make sense to you, at AOL.com. Yes, I'm one of the last 5 users of AOL in the world. And you can email me questions if you don't feel comfortable putting them up in a public forum. Other than that, I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope I didn't go too fast for you. Please, please, please let me know if you have questions. Thank you.